These are 10 movies this year that flopped. Number 10. Renfield. Renfield only managed to rake in a measly $10 million during its opening weekend against a $65 million budget. Questionable marketing and box office competition seemed to lead to its demise.
Your film is trash!
Universal seemed to oversaturate the market with TV spots for Renfield, and by the time the film came out, not many people were keen on seeing it anymore.
You okay?
No.
Yeah.
Its direct competition, The Pope's Exorcist, only had a budget of $18 million, yet managed to earn back Renfield's entire budget by bringing in $66 million worldwide. On top of that, not only did it release at the same time, but it was also only a week after the Super Mario Bros. Movie came out, which was also produced by Universal Studios. This pretty much just shows how little faith the studio had in this dark comedy.
This is not a good look. Not a good look at all. Abort, abort.
Number 9. 65.
Run.
This sci-fi epic was released in March, and it seemed like a sure thing considering it was led by Star Wars villain Adam Driver. While the film managed to earn back its initial investment, the measly $60 million that it earned worldwide was a pale comparison to what the studio hoped it earned. The film was released alongside Scream 6, and it was in theaters just before Shazam: Fury of the Gods was released. Releasing between a beloved horror franchise and the next DC superhero film was definitely a recipe for disaster. Number 8. Magic Mike's Last Dance.
You do. She said it was a silly dance.
Who said that?
Magic Mike is a series that has done surprisingly well in the past, and this was supposed to be a proper send-off for the character.
Yeah, that was really stupid.
No.
The film had a budget of $45 million with an extra $20 million spent in marketing, and it only ended up earning $57 million worldwide.
Who here, by show of hands, has stood in front of 1,000 women and had to get butt-ass naked?
This Magic Mike sequel had the perfect release window considering the genre, but its Valentine's holiday release date didn't help it. Number 7. Dungeons & Dragons: Honor Among Thieves.
You said I made you feel sad.
While Dungeons & Dragons did end up making back 1.4 times the initial budget of $150 million, considering the small extra cost of marketing spent on this film, one might have hoped for a more substantial return.
I tried to hold us to a certain standard.
Fans and newcomers adored the film, but considering the stigma surrounding the film, it seems as though more people believed that this was for fans only.
Fantastic. Where's the shovel?
Number 6. Are You There, God? It's me, Margaret.
Welcome to Womanhood.
This film was critically acclaimed, but the lackluster performance made sure to keep this one towards the bottom of the box office.
So, do you watch Jeopardy?
While the budget for this film was only $30 million, it still ended up only bringing in $22 million. Lionsgate even hired Dylan Mulvaney to help promote the struggling film.
I don't know why.
In an industry where most moviegoers are men, the audience was mainly comprised of older Caucasian women, which limited its revenue.
I was like, who's in it?
Number 5. Operation Fortune: Ruse de Guerre.
Actors all work for someone, don't they?
With a name like Guy Ritchie attached to the film, one might think that the film would be a smashing hit.
Wake up, everybody!
That wasn't the case. And with a cast consisting of Josh Hartnett, Aubrey Plaza, Jason Statham, and Hugh Grant, it's surprising to know that this film barely made half of its budget.
Is it humiliating, Amelia?
Yes.
With a budget of $50 million, the film only managed to bring in around $34 million at the box office.
You're absolutely right. Thank you.
Number 4. The Covenant.
It demands a result, not an appeasement.
This film definitely went outside of Guy Ritchie's usual formula to make a wartime film, but even Jake Gyllenhaal wasn't enough to bring people to watch this film. With a budget of $55 million, the film only brought in $20 million, and this resulted in 2 major losses for Guy Ritchie in the first half of the year. While the film was praised for its fresh and somber take on wartime events, it wasn't enough to draw a profitable crowd.
You good?
I'm good.
Number 3. Shazam: Fury of the Gods.
I'm an idiot.
Superhero films make more money in one weekend than most films do in their entire theater run, but Shazam: Fury of the Gods had a little trouble. The original Shazam made $370 million off of a $90 million budget.
That's crazy, right?
This sequel only managed to make $132 million off of a $125 million budget. While DC films haven't been as commercially successful as Marvel films, they've always managed to draw an audience, until now.
Right, so look, here's the thing. You're upset.
Number 2, Beau is Afraid. Ari Aster decided to take quite a few artistic liberties, which resulted in a confusing plot that couldn't draw audiences in during its April release. The film's plot was so convoluted and disorganized that some critics stated that it gave them migraines.
Oh my god. Wait, what is in that?
The A24 project had a budget of $35 million, but it only brought in a terrible $9.4 million.
Don't worry, Beau. False alarm.
Honorable mention, The Flash.
How hard do you have to hit someone to make them forget stuff?
The Flash was one of the most hyped films of the year, but it also had a ton of controversy surrounding the main actor. With a massive budget of $200 million, it only managed to earn back 1.3 times its budget, making it one of the biggest flops in cinema history.
So, will you help us?
Pass.
Number 1, Big George Foreman.
You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna win the championship belt.
With an athlete like George Foreman, one might have thought that this would have performed adequately at least.
Let's walk and talk.
The film had a budget of $32 million, but it only ended up bringing in $5.7 million in the end. This film had the weakest faith-based opening with a wide release.
I don't believe you, George.
These box office bombs were huge mistakes, but these next movie mistakes you see were actually intentional. Go click the video on screen now, since this one is over.